Welcome back to Throwing for Content, and today we're going to look at a chess.com tournament game. This is a daily tournament game. The tournament, for context, had 100 players, 10 players per pool, and the top two in each pool advanced. So, uh, this is the second round. So both me and my opponent, we got top two in our pool in the first round, and now we're in the top 20. So this is a top 20 tournament game, and you already know it's going to be high quality. It's going to be exciting. We're not going to see any mistakes or blunders or the eval bar jumping up and down like crazy. This is a daily 24-hour per move tournament game. What could possibly go wrong? First of all, we have the Danish Gambit, right? Always a Giga Chen move to play the Danish Gambit. Bishop g4, and then now queen to b3, threatening this pawn, threatening this pawn. So he defends with queen to d7. Now this pawn is defended, and this knight is now defended. So if I take this, it doesn't come with an immediate attack on the knight. Knight to g5, putting more pressure on the pawn, and bishop to h5 defending. And now I decide to take this pawn. Not as good. The computer wanted me to do this, and then after something like this, if he keeps trading, then I could take this pawn, and now this is a bit of a problem for him. So I didn't see that though. So I just took the pawn. I see free pawns. I take free pawns. Kicks out the knight. Knight goes back, and now he trades. I'm like, okay, this is fine. I can use this rook to attack. I'll just like attack him, keep my king safe. Knight to f6, and now bishop b5, pinning the knight. Rook to b6, attacking the queen. Queen goes back. Pawn to a6. This is the strongest move available, but it just lets me take this pawn for free. So I don't understand. I don't understand that. Like, I don't know. Please explain that. The just giving away a pawn is the strongest move. So okay. And like look, like me taking it's the strongest move too. Like look, like it's not like it's like a poison pawn or whatever. Okay, now bishop to e7. The computer wanted him to break in the center, and now I go bishop b5, putting more pressure on the knight again. Now there's no pawn to kick it out. Castles, and now I go bishop to e3, attacking the rook. And if you play something like rook goes back, well now you're no longer defending your knight. So the best thing for him to do is actually to sacrifice the exchange. Rook attacks queen. Queen goes out of the way, and unfortunately, I blunders this pawn. I go rook to g1. Now I'm pinning this pawn on g7, so I'm threatening this to create some problems. He moves his king out of the way, which he didn't necessarily have to do that. The computer wanted him to go dangerous levels, attack the queen, and now I offer a rook trade. I offer a rook trade because I'm up in exchange. So takes, and my position's about to get horrible. Although Stockfish is like, not yet. Oh, no, and I blunder my advantage. I needed to have taken the queen. Who cares about this check? I'm up in exchange anyway. Take the queen, check, and if I play something like this, that's a huge blunder because he takes this with check, and now that queen's going to fall. But if he checks like this, I can play this, protecting the rook. Now he takes this, and now the rook is safe. Now the rook can move out of the way. So that's what I should have done. But unfortunately, I just decided to protect the pawn like this. Queen to h3, attacking. Knight to d2. Now he's got pressure on the pawn, but I've defended it adequately with the knight. Queen captures pawn, and I go rook to f1, making my rook just super passive. The moving the king to e2 would have x-ray defended the rook by the queen, and now I'm just got this like weird fortress going here where literally all of my pieces except for this lonely guy right here are just huddled together. My position is actually so bad, it's horrible. Okay, pawn to a4, trying to push past pawns. All right, so far so good. Bishop to d8, getting ready to stop the passed pawn. King to e2. Now instead of now my queen and rook have more movement, and the king is going to help the defense of this pawn. Queen to h3. No! I needed to go queen to b1, which could threaten that. I don't know how it can win over white. Well, let's see. What's this? Show follow-up. Oh, that pawn. There we go. Okay, so, yeah, because you can see how washed I am at this game. Not even good. So, he moves his bishop to a5, attacking the knight. So I'm just going to pin myself. I'm just going to pin my own knight. Because that's what a good chess player does, is he pins his own knight, right? This is a top 20, you know, I'm rated 1468 in daily games. Send this game to Gotham Guess the Elo because he's never going to get this right. He's going to think this chess was played in 1468. Just pinning my own knight right there and check. King goes back. Take, 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 take. And now he takes that with check. King goes out of the way. And now we have, he's up 3 pawns, but I have a rook versus a knight. And I have this passed pawn right here. He has connected passed pawns, and he's got connected passed pawns right here. Well, only this pawn is actually passed because this pawn is still in range of this guy. Okay, queen to d4, attacking the knight and the pawn. Check. King goes out of the way. Obviously, like the knight's defended, I can't just take it. Pawn to d5. He's protecting the pawn by moving it in range of his knight, which makes sense. The computer wants him to go queen f3 and just threaten checkmate here, making things really awkward. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to push my pawn, but he does not punish. He does not threaten checkmate on queen to f3. Instead, I go queen to e3. I thought this was the only move to block checkmate, but it turns out I could have just moved the king to e2 and been just fine. But okay. So he could trade. He could do a bunch of stuff, but he decides to play pawn to d4, and unfortunately, that blunders the game and gives me the advantage because now take, and this pawn is just way too strong. He goes knight to b5, preparing to block over here, but now I can get my king and rook activated. Finally, the rook, after being trapped behind this pawn, it's like crouching tiger, hidden dragon, but finally it's his time to shine. I'm now going to attack this pawn. Check, king goes out of the way, and I was doing a bunch of calculations here because I was like, I'm not choking this. I am not choking this. Moves pawn up, take that. Check, king goes out of the way. Pawn goes to d3, and now I was doing some calculations here. I'm like, okay, I think this will work. I think pawn to a7 works out. If he checks like this, I could just block like this, and if he checks like this, I can take this, and I'm still guarding the queening square. So I was like, okay, I think everything here is just fine. And he goes knight to c4. Unfortunately, it blunders a mate in 7. That gives me a queen with check. And I think he just needed to try the checks and hopefully, like, I make a mistake for him because this is just, it's not a great position. King to g7, and I actually calculated this. Rook to e7 check, and I knew that if he went here, it was going to be checkmate. I was like, what if he goes here? Well, I think I can do this, and it's still checkmate because then he has to go here, and then I have something like this, and he can still kind of get away. Like he has this, and then I can go here and win the knight back. But I was like, okay. But luckily for me, he went here, which is actually mate in 2, which I actually did see, and that's the mate. I was trying to make sure I cut this square off. And yeah, that was an actual 1400 game, a top 20 tournament game. Oh my gosh, that game was horrible.